Making sense of division story problems, thinking to yourself, how will I solve this? What do you notice? Monte?
I notice justify their thinking.
Justify your thinking, meaning we're probably going to have to make some representations. And what's the big new word that you see that Chris is so pumped about? Division. Division is when you have a total number of objects, you're given a quantity, and you're asked to put them or separate them into equal groups. I know, everyone. This is brand new, so I'm thinking it's going to be pretty challenging, Alyssa.
I'm up for the challenge!
Aaron, are you ready? Are you ready? All right. I'm going to project a problem, and when I do, I'll let you work with a partner. You can work on solving it. Before we start solving the problem, thank you for your eyes, Christian. Thank you for your eyes, Juan. Before you start solving the problem, I want you to think, how does this problem relate to the factor-factor product model? And I want you to make sense of the problem using the factor-factor product model. That way we're thinking about what we have, what we don't have, and what we're trying to find out. Okay. Ready? Read. Frogs usually have 4 legs. In a pond, there are 16 legs. Altogether, how many frogs are in the pond? So you're thinking, how does this relate to the factor-factor model? You may work with your partner. Teach.
Okay.
Thinking, how are you going to solve this?
You could just solve it, but just
I know, but you need to divide it. How can you divide it? So 4, 16 times.
no, hold up. You can do it by
So let me teach you a trick. No, you're supposed to, your total answer is supposed to be 16, right? So look, over here, look, 4, 8, 12, 16. We need to
I'm seeing lots of different strategies. Brenda's using the factor-factor product model to help her make sense of the problem. I think we're a little stuck over here. So what strategy can you use to try and solve?
You're supposed to divide it up.
First, let's look at the numbers we have in the factor-factor product model.
That's your total answer. Now you can subtract 1, 2, 3, 4. Because it's at 4 and you need to divide it in equal groups of 16.
About 1 more minute, guys. I want to walk around and look at all of your whiteboards and see some work so I can track your thinking.
Okay, you could just do it by 6 because I know that 6 and 6 equals 12, right?
Yeah, it was 6 times 2. You're only talking about 2.
Start off and try the factor-factor product model.
Create addition?
Yeah, you have to. You don't have to, but
Yeah, but imagine that's when you split them. So look, 4 to 4. For example, 66 4 strategy and 4 is kind of I think you just give me I can just split up 6 and that'll be 5, 8, 12, and it's 5, and then
yeah, you do it another way, but that's how you could do it. So look, take a 6, let's try another one.
What do you start with? 6?
12.
That'll be fine. What do you start with? Now starting
You can figure it out using a different strategy as well. So remember, your first strategy is a good one. All right. Right. Class.
Yes.
Your whiteboards and markers are down and your eyes are on me. In 3, 2, and 1. Ooh, I have Alyssa's eyes. She's so ready. Elmer's so ready. So the first thing that we do is we draw our. Why is this so important? Why do I keep saying draw it? Why is it important, Miranda?
It is important so you know the factors and the product, and also you need to make sense of the problem before you solve it.
Yeah, this helps you think about what you know, the information you already have, and what you're trying to figure out. So, let's read. The first thing I'm going to do is circle and underline the important information. So, frogs usually have 4 legs. In a pond, there are 16 legs all together. Ooh, that's a very telling word. How many frogs are in the pond? So frogs have 4 legs. We're trying to find out how many frogs. So how many frogs would be the number of groups? 4 legs would be the
Size of each group.
What about 16? It's saying I have 16 all together. Is that number of groups?
No, that's the product.
How do you know it's a product? Brenda.
It's the product because in the story problem it says that there are 16 legs altogether.
All together, meaning we know how many there are. We have the total. All right. Now I want to know, how did you solve these problems? Some of you are pretty optimistic. Really optimistic. Alex.
So I knew that. So my strategy was.
Remember, scholars, while he's talking, we're tracking the board because that's how we track the speaker's thinking in math.
My strategy was skip counting.
Skip counting? Thanks for even naming it. Can you tell me how you did this, Alex?
I started with 4.
Uh-huh.
And then 8. 12. 16.
16. How did you know to stop at 16?
Because it says there are 16 legs altogether.
Oh, you're saying something really important. So I'm going to label legs. That way I know. So this would be 1 frog, 2 frogs, 3 frogs, 4 frogs. Ooh, I'm thinking, wait, 4. So this could be 4 times 4 is 16. Oh, I want to use another strategy to double check my work. Who's so excited? What's it?
I try to use repeated addition on a number line. I started with 0, so then I could take jumps, and then I took a jump of 4, that equals 4. Then I took a jump of another 4, and then now equals 8, and I took a jump another 4, that equals 12, and then another 4 equals 16.
So 16 what? Like, yeah, because we always want to be using labels. That way we know what information we're keeping track of. And Montse, what do the jumps represent?
The jumps represent 1 frog.
Yeah, and how many jumps did we take?
4.
4 jumps, which equals 4 frogs, because each jump represents 4 legs on 1 frog. Follow with me. Do it with your fingers. 8 legs on 2 frogs. 12 legs on 3 frogs. 16 legs on 4 frogs. going to label this in one more. Jaylene.
I know, I don't know how my strategy is called, but I did 16 divided by blank equals, no, 4 divided by blank divide blank equals 16.
Oops.
And then instead of using only divided by, I use times because I use times because I know that 4 times 4 equals 16. If I use one of the 4s, it'll be 4. It will be the answer will be 4.
So you were using what you know. I'm going to address this. I want your hands down and your eyes on the board because I spy on misconception, and mistakes are the best part of learning. Brenda, give Jaylene a high five. We're about to learn something, and it's so, so exciting. So scholars, there are multiple ways to represent what's going on in this problem. We could write 4 times blank equals 16. Blank times 4 equals 16. 16 divided by 4 equal blank, or 16 divided by blank equal 4. Now, Jaylene, I want to follow up with you. You said 4 divided by 16. And I saw a couple questions. Why does that not work? Remember. Oh,
I didn't say that I accidentally made a mistake and I wrote 16 divided by 4 and
So, you were the only one. I was walking around and I saw lots of scholars with 4 divided by 16, and I'm so glad this happened. Why is 4 divided by 16? Why doesn't that not represent, it doesn't represent what's happening in the problem? Why is that, Christian? Scholars, your eyes are on the board.
That equation is a mistake because you can't divide 4 into 16.
You could, but you'd get a really, really small number. But I'm going to bring it back. In multiplication, we were, Chris, given 2 groups, right? Number of groups and size of groups, and asked to find the total. With division, we're given the total and either the size of the group or the number of group, and we're asked to find one more factor. So we divide the total. And what's the total in this problem? How many legs are there all together?
16.
Everyone.
16 legs.
I want everyone going. How many legs?
16 legs.
And what do we already know? What do we already know? Say it.
That's 4 legs on each frog.
And we're trying to find out how many frogs there are. So if we had 4 legs on a frog and divided it by 16 legs, does that make any sense?
No.
Okay. Jaylene.
I think I noticed that it was 4 divided by 16. I see one mistake that if I was supposed to split, for example, if I was supposed to 16, I was supposed to split 4 into 16 4 times. But now I know that it's supposed to be 16 divided by 4 equals 4. Because 16, now I know that you need to split up 16 to the number 4 into
So you can divide 16 by 4, right? Scholar. Are you adding on? What would you like to add on? Okay, use another strategy. I'm looking at it. It looks like we have one similar to the board, but I'm happy you want to participate. Scholars, I want you to think about this problem. What? Oh, and what's the